In 2009, a BYD vehicle displayed at the Detroit Motor Show received underwhelming reviews, lackluster in styling, build quality, and polish. Fast forward to today, and BYD has not only surpassed Tesla in EV production, but also helped China become the world's largest car exporter, outpacing Germany and Japan. China's ambition is clear: to dominate the global car industry, overtaking giants like Volkswagen and Toyota. The strategy is aggressive: mass production, competitive pricing, and rapid expansion into international markets. In just 3 years, Chinese car exports have tripled, reaching 4.7 million units in 2024. By 2030, projections suggest this number will rise to 7.3 million. While many focus on the rise of Chinese electric vehicles in Europe, nearly 75% of these exports are still powered by internal combustion engines. These cars are not heading to the United States, where tariffs have essentially locked Chinese manufacturers out, nor are they flooding into Western Europe, where regulatory barriers and stiff competition limit their reach. Instead, China has turned its attention to emerging markets: Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Latin America, and Africa. These regions present significant opportunities: fast-growing economies, less stringent regulations, and a lack of strong domestic car industries. At home, China's car market has transformed. Foreign brands once dominated, but today, Chinese manufacturers account for around 60% of all sales. This shift has led to intense competition and severe overcapacity. Government policies and subsidies helped build China's EV industry, but now Chinese factories operate at only 60% of their total capacity. The result has been a brutal price war, pushing automakers to seek new markets to sustain profitability. Selling abroad isn't just an option, it's a necessity. Western automakers focused on high-end models due to supply chain disruptions during the pandemic left a gap in developing countries. China filled this void, supplying affordable vehicles where Western brands had retreated. Sanctions have also played a role. Russia, for example, turned to Chinese brands after the departure of Western manufacturers, with Chinese cars now making up 61% of Russia's market, compared to just 9% in 2021. Chinese car makers are also rapidly expanding in South America, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. In these regions, Chinese brands now hold 8% of the market in the Middle East and Africa, 6% in South America, and 4% in Southeast Asia. While electric vehicle adoption is slower in these areas, Chinese firms are laying the groundwork for future electrification, positioning themselves ahead of legacy automakers. Electric vehicles are beginning to gain traction in some unexpected places. In Latin America, EV sales doubled in 2024, reaching 6% of total sales. In Brazil, the world's sixth largest car market, EVs now account for nearly 7% of sales, with Chinese brands dominating. In Mexico, the figure is 8%, and in Thailand, it has soared to 15%. By 2030, more than 3/4 of China's car exports are expected to be electric. Beyond exports, Chinese automakers are establishing production hubs abroad. BYD is leading the way, with factories in Thailand and Uzbekistan, and planned expansions in Brazil, Hungary, Indonesia, Turkey, and possibly Mexico. Other manufacturers like Chery, Chang'an, Great Wall, and SAIC are following suit. By 2030, Chinese firms are expected to manufacture 2.5 million cars abroad, half in Europe and the rest in developing markets. However, not all expansion plans may come to fruition. The Chinese government may slow foreign investment to keep domestic production facilities running and safeguard technological advancements. Despite these potential hurdles, if China's automakers achieve even 80% of their planned production in South America by 2027, they could capture up to 15% of the market. The global car industry is undergoing a transformation. Chinese automakers are rapidly becoming global enterprises, challenging established players in regions where they once had little competition. This poses a growing threat to Japanese and South Korean firms in Asia and the Middle East, as well as Western giants like Volkswagen, General Motors, and Stellantis in South America. If Chinese manufacturers continue to push legacy automakers out of emerging markets, competition in protected regions like the US and Western Europe will only intensify. By building brands, signing dealers, and establishing service networks, China's automakers are embedding themselves in key markets. The shift is already evident. Once dismissed as subpar, Chinese cars are now being recognized for their performance and design. The question is no longer whether they will succeed, but how quickly they will reshape the global auto industry.